Alrighty. All right. So, did you have a list of questions for me?
Um, Not really. I just wanted to see what you see, like what jumps out, and like my main concern was what is it in my chart that's causing me to allow myself to be abused in relationships?
Okay. All right. So, I did take a look at your chart, and ma'am, you have a very, very interesting setup here. Very, very interesting setup. You have a good bit of lifetimes where you, let's say, effed men over. And don't feel bad about that because we all have those. But for you in particular, you do have a lot of things in your planetary alignment that's kind of like attracting that. And this, the way yours is set up, is really more so for you to correct the things that you had misused in past lives. So, you know, go back and take a look at your charts. I can give you at least a brief explanation of what's going on. Let's see. That's not you, that's somebody else. Alrighty. So, I think I might have you on my phone. I'll go ahead and just pull you up on my phone because my computer wants to be hard headed right now. All right, so let's see. While I'm pulling this up, I'll just go ahead and just kind of give you like a brief run through of what I saw in your chart. You had some planets to where you to specifically to where you were supposed to be attracting like really really aggressive men, and not only just aggressive men, but but also in the sense to where you would not give them aggressive reaction. So I thought that was really really interesting that it was set up that way. So I'm sorry, just a moment. This thing is really like giving me the blues right now. Let's try to reset this thing. Save. I had another person set up in here, and for some reason, it just wants to give me a hard time on this. Personal portrait. Save. X. There you go. Okay. I'm sorry about that. All right, so your sun sign is a Gemini, your moon sign is Aquarius, and your ascendant is Scorpio. Girl. So let's start with the with the first one, with the first part that's really kind of attracting these men to you. Your sun is square Mars. I'm not sure if you're too deep into astrology, but most people aren't. But Mars is basically like your bully planet. That's a very very active planet that kind of acts as more as a catalyst to make like force you to do things. It's kind of like, when you're a kid and you didn't wash the dishes right, and your mom goes in the kitchen and takes your dishes out and dirties them all up just so you can make it, just so she can teach you how to do it correctly. That's what Mars is. That's just the planet that just really kind of catapults you. Like, no, you're not about to get around this. I'm gonna make you, move in that direction. So that is where the sun. The sun is already an amplifier of any planet. So that alone in itself, it really just kind of strengthens the power of Mars right there. Um, you have, let's see, going down in your chart. All right, so your Venus, that is the planet of love and, like sexual attraction. It's also like a planet of wealth as well too. So that is going to be like what attracted men to you. That planet is actually, let me see where they're located. That's in the constellation of Cancer, and Cancer is an extremely emotional sign, extremely emotional, like volatile, emotional. So, so just imagine, you a lot of that you would really be attracting a lot of men that are super emotional, um, and you would also have those emotional capabilities yourself. Like you would have like those tendencies yourself. So imagine just bringing those men like into your energy field that just they have problems themselves, and they tend to be aggressive. Your Jupiter is in Virgo, and so is your Mars, which is interesting. So Virgo is a very very laid back sign. So Virgo is a really really laid back sign. Jupiter is a planet that's a planet of like abundance, also wealth, and it also is your ideal husband. So it represents a lot of the security, a lot of the things that we would be looking for in a man would be what Jupiter represents for you. So, however, because it's in a very very laid back sign, um, it's not gonna take dominance here in your particular chart. Like you won't get that ideal man. Like you'll get him. I don't want to confuse. You'll get him, but like it will not come as easily because you kind of need to tweak some of the habits that you have in order for that person to come into your life. Um, let's see. I'm trying to go back and to see. I think there was one other that I saw in here. Okay, so your moon is square Uranus. Uranus or Uranus, however people pronounce that. So Uranus is a planet of like unpredictability. It's like the one thing. It's like the wild card. Here today, gone tomorrow. Things can just, you know, the tables can flip up. So uh, your moon is a planet because they do consider that as a planet. That represents so much. It represents your self conscious, your emotions, who you really are, and how you respond in really tough situations. So that is square Uranus. So of course, you talking about Uranus. That's talking about something unpredictable. Can you imagine like how you respond emotionally to something like that? So I can understand like any type of like reaction that you might have to something like that. So just kind of give me your feedback on that. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, my last relationship bounded, ended like 9 months ago was the most abusive, and that's why I started asking like, what is it about me that um, attracted this type of energy? Because I wanted to fix it or at least work with it and minimize it. Its impact because I had a lot of violence with this one, like almost didn't make it out. So want to find out what it is so I can stop that pattern.
Right. Okay.
So I can make it through another situation like that.
All right. So let's dive in here. Let's see. For your Sun square Mars, it's basically saying that an abundance of energy that needs to be redirected into a safe place of competition, such as sports, martial arts, working, and sales. That'll be really good for your emotions as well too. If you're feeling like you're really down, really depressed, a good way to redirect that energy is to do like be more active, be in sports. I know it's difficult because you have that child, um, but just find like a healthy way for you to express that. Because even though it's coming out in tears or coming out in emotions, it's still energy nonetheless. Don't and if you feel the need to cry, it's okay. Like just go ahead and let it pass. That is tends the tears cleanse you. That helps to clean your energy field because something is in you that really needs to be released. So if you ever feel like you're tired of crying, tired of doing this, tired of doing that, it's okay. Just kind of let it pass. It's you holding it back that's actually building the energy um, from it. So I'm gonna go back to this. Let's see. All right, so with your sun being in your seventh house, there are 12 houses that we go based off of in astrology. It's saying that you're basically searching for, this is on a subconscious level, searching for someone more powerful than you in order to feel supported. The need to shine through another person, you're not a fan of loneliness, and you sacrifice yourself for a partnership. So the seventh house is like a house of love. So this is kind of like where a lot of your attention is being directed, and this is a big part of why you are attracting these men, because this is something subconscious. So you probably wouldn't know this up front, but like, oh yeah, I do that, you know. This is like a tendency to do this, but you don't have the underlying reason why. It's a big reason why I'm starting to do these readings, to kind of help people understand that there's a reason behind your actions, because even without you trying to do something, you're already doing it.
Right.
Let's see. All right, so your Mars in Virgo, critical and stubborn, but not aggressive. You have a very nervous energy. A part of you actually likes the drama because boredom makes you restless. Tendency to prefer imperfect people because of how you view yourself. You know you have issues too, so you're willing to accept the issues in other people to make you feel as though there's an even exchange. I thought that was very interesting. So let's see. Jupiter in Virgo, planet represents expansion, abundance, ambition, wealth, and your ideal husband. Um, with it being in your 10th house, it holds to what esteem other people view you, such as your image, your power, position, and honors. So if you remember what I was talking about with the Jupiter being, just explain what Jupiter represents with it being in Virgo, very, very laid back sign. People or men in your particular case regarding this reading are viewing you in a very, very humble, submissive um, way, if that makes sense. That mm-hmm. they yeah, that's how they view you. That's how you are starting to come across to people. So for them, they think, oh, that's a really attractive person. You probably I feel like you probably attract people who are like really old school. Like they want things done, you know, with the man leading and this and that, barefoot and pregnant, you know, your typical guy, yes. So, I'm not a stranger to being with people like that. So don't feel bad about it. But I'll go back to see if I can find what your lifestyle, your lifetimes where I was writing them down this morning. Okay, so regarding your past lives, all right, so you had a very manipulative uh, set of past lives, and for this particular one that I was looking at, and this is for, I'm sorry, this is more than one past life, but you were both a man and a woman. But you learn like this manipulative behavior by both of your parents, both your mother and father. So they both were kind of like out there, it's very typical of what happens nowadays. Your father, in one past life, your father worked as a business sales and taught you how to use words to mislead others. Your mother was a pushover, but she also had several affairs on your dad and taught you how to keep secrets. So in turn, that kind of made you very spoiled, and you didn't want to accept no for an answer. Um, you had actually arranged for people to be killed to protect your air quotes integrity, so you wouldn't get publicized as afraid. So that's pretty deep. Another past life I saw for you. Another past life I saw for you. It was, let's see. You were a cunning thief that would throw anyone under the bus for money.
Wow.
And another one I saw, the last couple of lifetimes I saw, you spent as a slave that came back to literally work off your debt. But the internal struggle was so intense for the last one that the internal struggle was too intense that you actually committed suicide.
I was wondering about that. I was feeling suicide. I knew one of them was.
Mm-hmm.
I know I did it before. And that was something that came to me like when I was like in my darkest part of my depression, coming out of my abusive relationship. Because I was suicidal, and it's just something that just kept saying, "Don't do it, because you're gonna come right back, and it's gonna be worse." And it's saying like, and what I was feeling was like, I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna remember this lifetime. It's like before, it's like, we have the amnesia or what have you, but I was being warned that if I did take my life, when I came back, I was gonna remember this one, and everything was gonna be just as like it was before.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And but I don't want you to feel down about it, because I've done that in quite a few past lives, and it's not fun down here, especially having to start over, and you don't get to always pick your parents, at least on a conscious level. Maybe our higher self picks our parents, but us, as our lower self, we don't come here in the best situations. We don't, necessarily want the family that we have or want the situations that we have, whether we're rich or poor or whatever. But our higher self does pick those things to which is going to better you, or better the lower self. So, and that's kind of how we're operating here on more of a lower self, trying to learn lessons and get better, on their own. But you do have 5 planets in retrograde. I'm sorry, 4 planets in retrograde. So normally, when there's at least 3 in retrograde, that's like a telltale sign of that you probably did commit suicide, in one. So and that's okay. That's okay. You have an opportunity to go ahead and have that corrected. So, for the sake of time, I do want to go over what I was able to see as far as what you can do to correct this. So, the first part, you have to find your heart center and learn how to distinguish your emotions from reality. When you're going through, it could be an argument, it could be you just sitting around and suddenly you just get bad thoughts. You have to be able to know this is an emotion versus a reality. And that's what happens when we flash out. People get upset, or you push somebody's buttons and they get to flipping out and they're thinking you're attacking them, and you're not really attacking them. You're really just expressing a thought or expressing a feeling or whatever, but that person, they don't know. It's like PTSD. So it's just that having that innate reaction. So I mean, the best way for you to open that heart space is through meditation. Do you meditate right now?
Yes, I do. I'm starting.
Good. Okay. So how is that going for you?
It helped a lot. It helped me stay grounded without the struggle with that. That's just because my sun and moon are in air signs. I struggle with being grounded.
Ooh, girl. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the way real easy. So I have been focusing on like my chakras, my root chakra especially, because I don't feel like I'm from here, and I do struggle with staying grounded and staying in this reality and functioning. But meditating has been helping me with my thoughts and staying in control. And like I've been working on impulse control and stopping myself from acting on those thoughts and emotions. Okay. So I have been working on that.
That's really, really good. So how often would you say you meditate?
Probably like, I want to say like 3 times a week.
Okay.
I'm trying to up them, just moving again. So once I get situated, then I intend to up the frequency, because I feel so much better after doing it. I really do. Yeah, and that's really, really good, because it's not often that I get to talk to people who actually meditate, or they'll say yeah, but they're like, oh, well, I need to meditate more, and I'm like, well, how much, how often? They'll be like, it's been like 2 months since I'm meditating. They say they do, but they don't, or whatever. So, but that's really, really good, that you're actually on that route. So I mean, for you, you're an air sign. I know how difficult it is to stay grounded. I'm an air sign as well too. So let's see. All right, so your moon sign is an Aquarius, and then
Your ascendant is in Scorpio. That's a water sign. Have you tried crystals?
I'm sorry, what?
Crystals?
Crystal? Yeah, I work with those.
Okay. Do you use a specific stone for grounding?
Um, right now I have a tourmaline.
Okay.
Black tourmaline. I've been working with that. I don't think that's for ground. I think it's more so for protection because that was what I was like really, really worried about. So getting to protect because my ex is a narcissist. So yeah.
Oh yeah, girl. Look, I can tell you how to take care of your ex. You can just we can talk about that offline. To make sure that you know take care of him and protect yourself and your children and and don't have that like looming over you because and I know I'm divorced. I was married for 9 years, so I know how like nerve-wracking that could be to wonder what that person's gonna do, if they're gonna show up, if they're gonna do that. And he's a narcissist as well, so like I'm not a stranger to anything that you're going through right now. Whew, it's gonna work out, but we can take care of that on a separate. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, we can take care of that and make sure that you don't have that. You have to be protected. This is not about him no more. This is about you, and this is about you taking care of yourself. You dealt with this bullshit already. It's time for you to get the ball spinning on how to take care of you.
Right.
So, let's see. What else I have here? All right, so a message that I got for you was that you have to take the time to sort through your feelings and find words that best describe how you feel and how you view your own life. You have to accept what is. Um, because I was looking at your chart and I saw that Mercury is also in Cancer. If you remember, I was saying Cancer is a really, really emotional sign. So when we're emotional, it's really hard to explain mean what we say and say what we mean. So whenever you get some free time, and it doesn't have to take you 30 minutes to do it because I get it. When you have a 1 year old, it's hard to kind of get time to really focus and think. But like maybe through one of the naps or something like that, just take like 5 or 10 minutes and just think of words that might describe how you feel, whether it be lonely or whether it feel vulnerable or whatever it is, and just kind of help because I'm really feeling Mercury is the planet of communication. Being able to communicate your thoughts, and that's a big reason why as to why you were not able to protect yourself as well as you could have protected yourself in relationships is because it was really hard for you to put things into words to express how you felt. I mean, you said mean things when you were mad, of course, but for the most part you have to be able to exercise that muscle, that vocal cord to tell people how you stand on certain issues. Learning how to say no in a healthy way, like, and knowing that you don't have to run away from those feelings or run away from that person's reaction. Fuck their reaction. Like, it's about you.
Yeah, I just had that real, like, I avoid conflict just because I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings, but it's a courtesy that's not reciprocated, and so I get mad and then blow up. And yeah, so I will have to start addressing it when it bothers me instead of letting it fester.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see that. Right. And the thing about that, and that's why I'm telling you about this now, is that you get the words, work on, I won't say your vocabulary because that's not really. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
If you know that you're going to say for.
Writing, yeah.
Okay.
I want to start vlogging, so I think that's what you would grasp from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good. That's awesome. I mean, I know is your ex, is that the father of your child, your youngest?
My son. Yeah.
Okay. So that means you're gonna have to deal with him. Because if you're gonna say no, like okay, well, yeah, whatever, forget him. We'll take care of him. But since he is the father of your child, you will have to be able to come up with words to express. You have to set boundaries, and he doesn't understand them. I mean, he understands them whenever he's cool and calm and collected and everything like that. But whenever he gets all upset, and he will get upset, I want you to understand that once your actions start changing, and they already have started changing, by the way, and he's noticed that they're changing. Um, but, you know, whenever you're giving him a reaction or you're making a statement that just bothers him, you'll have to know how to react or how to prepare yourself for his reaction. You know, he has certain tendencies to do certain things. So just really kind of work on your verbiage, and you have to stick to yourself, stick to your guns.
Right.
That's one thing I'm picking up from you as well too. It's like you'll say something, and then he'll push too hard, and eventually you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna just give him whatever he wants, so he can get out of my face. Just so I understand. Like, I understand. I've been there, and because you have that tendency to relent, he knows that all I have to do is ask her long enough, or just piss her off, or press this button, and she's gonna give her that reaction. So he really needs a form of consistency in order for him to see that it's okay, or see that you're not gonna tolerate it. And the problem with men who are used to women who break down, after so long, is that they will keep, keep, keep trying because they think, oh, okay, well, she must be ahead of herself today. I'm gonna fix her ass. They have a tendency to, kind of think along those lines. And that's fine. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do, but as long as you have protected yourself and put things in motion. Do you have joint custody right now?
We don't. We have to go on the first for mediation or visitation, but we have like 2 domestic violence cases between us, so the magistrate already told her they're not going to give them joint custody.
Okay. All right. So you think it's going to be more so like a visitation with like supervised visitation or something like that?
Yeah, just I'm not even supervised. I'm not concerned about my child. It's my ex is an alcoholic, and that's when the physical abuse came. But I'm not concerned about the safety of my child. It's just me having to deal with them. I don't want to have to deal with them, and I don't want to have to deal with his mother because she's manipulative too. So it was just an issue of getting something like in writing and recorded with the court.
Okay. So y'all don't currently have a custody order in place? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, you don't have anything to worry about. Now, I do see his mom like trying to push, him to do this or push him to do that. I don't see that being too successful because he has too much going on. He has women in his life. He has all this other he has entirely too much going on right now. He doesn't know if he's coming or going. And right now, it's like he's just trying to hold on to the little bit that's left of what's happening. And right now, he just thinks you're throwing a temper tantrum. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to accept anything. His mother has been manipulative, and certainly has been enabling him. Like, she doesn't want to accept or believe that what's going on with her son. And I feel like she wants to have a relationship with the child as well too. But I really feel like she's more so offended that anybody would say such things about her son. I think she's just more so like in her feelings, like, oh, I can't believe that. He would never do this. He would never do that.
And he grew up with abuse with his parents, and they still together. And so that's why they keep minimizing what he did. So, because he's of the mind saying that he's seen his parents do worse, and they still together. So he doesn't think slapping me while I'm pregnant with his child is a big deal. And I should have been able to get over it without calling the police and everything else. So.
Wow. So he thinks that because his parents were stupid, you should be stupid too. Wow.
Well, I'm thinking that's how she is too. It's just like y'all could work through it. She probably, because she was always pushing us together, and it's like, because I'm respectful because of the way I was raised, but now it's just I finally picked up on her manipulating the situation, and I'm like, I don't want no contact because I have a hard time with boundaries. and,
Hmm.
being assertive, that I just rather not even deal with them at all until
Yeah.
I can be, more assertive.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, for him, I mean, alcoholism runs through his family and like all throughout, especially throughout the men and some of the women too. But like for her, like her and her husband are like not even on great terms. Like they barely even speak to each other. Like it's just really they just wake up and go about their business. You know,
Yeah,
they're not a very close couple. So I mean, regarding that, I think a part of her somewhat forgot of everything, or well, not everything, but some of the things. She remembers, like, significant events of what happened, but for her, it's kind of like, oh, you have to do what you have to do to take, to keep your marriage. And I was very much along those lines too. I had a very abusive marriage as well. Um, my parents, that was semi-abusive, but it was kind of like the other way around. It was more so my mom, that was, overreacting and, and just really being very, very difficult. So, and again, that's very, very old school. So he does have a very strong old school, like, upbringing to where he feels like that's okay. He feels like, well, he's doing this comparison thing. Like, oh, okay, well, I've seen that. This ain't that. So,
yeah,
and it's kind of using that to more or less like enable himself or give himself an excuse to say that it's okay. But I do see him. Does he have legal issues already?
you know what?
Does he have legal issues already?
He's on probation for one of those domestic violence
Mm,
cases, but it's been shown. I don't know if he's got anything else, but he's an alcoholic and he died. So,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, ooh. All right. I do see him going away for a little bit, like yeah, for I don't see this being long. It looks like probably no longer than 6 weeks to 90 days. But this looks like this might have been some type of altercation he might have had, like at a club or a bar or something, where he just kind of lost control and just and didn't like he doesn't even remember what happened. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he's like I don't know. Like he doesn't even know how to defend himself. Um,
yeah,
but yeah,
I
so
don't like him.
I do see that coming up, and I think for that, I think you will see a change in his mom and like her like participation, everything that she might try to be a little bit nicer, but don't take that as her changing, okay? Because she's just doing
Oh no,
whatever
see,
she.
I see who she is. Yeah, she shows who she is. I see her.
Yeah.
I see her. I'm not dealing with her at all. My mother is gonna be the go between for me
Hmm.
um, for visitation. So, but yeah, she showed me who she was. I see her.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I mean, I do see like positive things going on with you. Are you working right now?
I'm not because I have panic attacks I had like a mental
Hmm.
breakdown last May, and I'm still trying to recover from that.
Okay, let's take a look at that. You said that was last night?
Last May, yeah,
Last May. Okay.
yeah, last May.
Okay, I see that clearing up like very, very
I
soon.
feel like I
Hmm.
feel like I'm coming up out of it.
Yeah, I see you probably April or May is what I'm seeing of this year is what I'm seeing where you're gonna feel like okay enough to start working part time, and then eventually I do see you like working a good bit. As far as like any relationships for you going forward, I do see in about 2 years you'll probably have something that you'll want to actually pursue something serious with, like serious as in consistent and and really knowing what to look for out of a partner. Um, will you be with other people between now and then? On an intimate level, yes, I do see that. Let's see if it's going to be your ex.
You saying that anytime soon?
Yeah. Let's see. I don't see. I don't see you too much messing around with your exes. I see that. that this might be somebody he might know, maybe not friends with, but like he might like maybe know by name or maybe frequently sees at the store or something like that. I do feel like there is a connection to your ex there. Um, your ex will be jealous about that. So, but if he were to find out, and that might be another reason why you don't pursue something serious at the time. But I think for you emotionally, you really need to learn how to trust men and learn how to communicate. Um, to where you can express yourself in a safe way, not through crying and tears, because the moment you start quivering, your voice starts quivering. They kind of like shut down, like mentally, like, okay, I don't know what you're saying, you're crying right now. They might not come out and say that, but for they're not able to understand because they don't know what to do. They really don't have that nurturing um, energy like a female would have in order for you to really discern past the tears. So let me see what else I have on my notes. Let's see. Yeah, I see you working. I see you working. It might be a part-time job.
Because like I worked in medical and I'm so burnt out. I don't want to go back. That's kind of why I've kind of been taking my time and not rushing back because I have no clue where to go.
I see you working like a retail, something part-time. I don't see you going in anything intense right now, like soon. If for you to go back, when I say intense, I'm saying something that will require a lot of energy, like nursing or finance or whatever. Those types of jobs do require a lot of energy. I see you doing something probably more, maybe like a cashier or more like something very very light. You have to ease yourself back into the workforce, um, because anything that drains your energy is really going to have an effect on your emotions when you come home. You still have children, and you're gonna be, and I think financially, I don't think you'll be too happy about taking things slowly, but you'll feel a lot better. You'll be able to see that you're getting your power back, that you can actually come home and function and come home and not worry about what's going to happen. And like I really feel like this is going to be really really helpful for you. Now let's see, as far as going back into any type of field, to where you're working like in a career capacity. This looks like it'll be maybe the beginning of next year. You'll begin to figure out what you want to do and pursue that strong. Like I see you being strong next year, knowing what you want, working in it. You will have a balance. Like with a daycare, like a daycare with your son. Is the youngest one a son?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Is the youngest child a son? Is it a boy?
Yeah, it's a son.
Okay, yeah. Because I saw you, bring them to a daycare. Like I see, and I feel like you have a good support system with you too. It may not always feel like it. It may not always feel like it because they tell you stuff you don't really want to hear, and they don't fully understand what's going on. They only know your horror stories, like your descriptions of what you told them while you were emotional. Um, but I really feel like you have a very strong support system that's not really going to push you into doing something that you would feel uncomfortable doing. So the biggest thing is that you have to understand you have time. If you feel rushed, like you feel like I gotta hurry and do this, hurry and do that, that rush feeling is really going to prompt anxiety and really kind of spiral you back into more of a breakdown, or more of a depression, or or close to something bipolar. And I've been there too. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was on antipsychotics and everything. Um, so and it's difficult. And I know when you're coming out of an abusive relationship, it's really really hard to figure out where your problem was. Is the problem me, or was it them? Or are you trying to consider, okay, I get it, he shouldn't have hit me, but maybe it was kind of my fault as to why, I made him so mad. I totally understand the mental processes that you have, in that. And this is kind of like the hard part about people who have not been, physically hurt. They have a tendency to not want to consider those feelings to be valid, and they are valid. They are valid, just like any other breakup that you had, or somebody who cheated. Nobody cares. why he cheated. All they hear is the fact that he cheated. Um, so, and I do feel like you are, at a place where you want to take ownership for everything that you're doing. So you are definitely like on the right track, but I just keep hearing that, just take the time and just write down what to say, whatever words you feel like you need to communicate with your ex. Write them down in a sentence so that whenever he goes to that place to where, because you know how he's going to react. He's relatively predictable for you. Um, so you know how he's gonna react. If you say this, oh, he's not gonna like that. He's probably gonna say X, Y, and Z. Create a response for that so that you're not having to go back, I don't know, or like have to think about what to say at that point. Because when you're thinking about it at that point, it puts you in a spot and it kind of makes you stutter and it appears to him as though you're being weak. And that's, of course, that's not the case. You're not being weak. It's just you just trying to pick your words carefully.
Right. Yeah.
So, just take the time and write those down. And you'll, believe it or not, like whenever he comes to see the child, if he does that, then, it'll go smoother and he'll understand that you're going to say what you mean and mean what you say. And there is no discussion. If you said something to him, and you feel like your answer is not going to change, let him know my answer's not going to change. Have a good day. He's not used to you doing that. He's used to you kind of like doing that push and pull tug of war thing with him, wanting to argue, wanting to bicker. But the moment he sees that, like, you're not trying to do that anymore, like you're over him, and even with him being narcissistic, and he's an ass, and he knows he's an asshole too. So, he knows that he can kind of, if he's feeling emotional imbalance, that he can kind of do that with you. But learn how to hang up the phone, like in his face. A lot of people don't know, but like when you're dealing with somebody crazy like that, that's okay. It's totally okay to hang up in his face. It's not okay for him to pop up at your house, or pop up at your job or wherever. That's not okay. We need to schedule something. Like, you cannot do this to me. And you have a protection order, right?
No, he hasn't really been bothering me.
Okay.
So, there's no contact. I've seen Valentine's Day, he had to go for child support because he wanted to get the amount of things and he felt like it was too much. And that was my first time seeing him in like 2 months. And it went pretty good. We didn't have no issues. Just I had to move because I get angry when I think about him or I'm seeing him, and I'm mad that I'm still reacting emotionally to him. It's like I'm mad at myself right now for getting mad. So, but it was okay.
Well,
it was bad.
Right. I mean, that part of you is angry with yourself because you realize you could have prevented it. You realize that had you thought, ahead of time, and I get it. Again, like, I know you're probably not used to talking to people who have been like in this situation and are out of it, or you might see people that are used to be in this situation but are now like in another relationship, so they think everything is all shits and giggles, and it's not. Some people, like women, need to know this, that what they can do to prevent this from happening again. So it's okay to feel like hard on yourself, but if you ever feel like, okay, well, I have these emotions, I'm mad at myself, those are some things that you can address during meditation. Like, why am I angry? Like, anything that you feel, ask why. And it might not come to you automatically. It might just be looking over the situation. And anytime you want to point the finger at, well, he did this or they did that, realize it's not really about them. It's about what you could do to control, what Telena's doing. So, okay. Did you have any other questions?
I did have a question. I was recently lost like over 100 pounds. You see me gaining that thing.
Girl, what did you do?
Like, my family members are like, it's like they're wishing it on me, like behind you on some part, saying that she can't wait for me to gain it back.
Yeah, that's not very nice of her. I need to lose 100 pounds. Ooh.
And I'm like, I don't want it to come back, but it was the stress of the situation. Mostly it's side effects from one of the medications that they took on.
Yeah. I see you maybe gaining maybe 10 or 15 pounds back. But I think that when, as your younger child gets older, he's probably walking by now. If not, then really soon. Then, I see you being more active and wanting to go outside. Like going outside and being in nature is like healing in itself. So he'll want to run around. You're gonna want to do more things. Take him outside, teach him how to play basketball. Even if it's with the little toy one. Just being active. Um, I don't see you gaining too much weight back. I really feel like the meditation is really gonna help you. It's really gonna keep you centered to where you're not overeating. So, are you currently on an antidepressant or antipsychotic?
Yeah, antidepressant. I want to come off of it though. Like I remember it's a natural remedy.
Okay, so
I just don't like how I feel. Like they can't get the dosage right because of the weight loss, and it's like it helps with the depression, but it makes the anxiety worse. And then I have like these fits of rage too, where it's like I'm so mad.
okay, so eventually, and I'll tell you this from having worked in, having been a patient of behavioral health and mental health. Um, Typically, if you're getting like this rage, they'll like to attribute that to like bipolar disorder, because they call that mania. Any SSRI is like the typical antidepressant. They typically want to say that oh, okay, it's bipolar disorder, and they're going to want to put you on an antipsychotic. I would not suggest that you do that. Because and I was on an antipsychotic, believe me, and when I tell you that, like, it made me feel dead. It made me feel like all it does. Okay, antipsychotic is really just a stronger version of like an antidepressant. It's all mood stabilizers. It's really all the same shit. It's just a different dosage. Like and antipsychotic is what they normally give people with like schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder, but they can also use that same stuff. I mean, it's different properties, but like antipsychotics has something that might stimulate more of the mania. Mania is like the upper, the anxiety, the rage and stuff like that. So I'm going back to you like energetically, like what's setting that off. Okay, so I don't feel like that medication's doing that. I feel like the rage that you're experiencing, I think you're just noticing it more because you're not as depressed. I think you've already always had that. I think you're able to go back and revisit and be more sensitive to what your actions are. Um, when I took a look, when I took a look at your, I know I was telling you the look when I was looking at your chart about like your Mars and Uranus and stuff like that, you having all of these really strong planets, but they're like in subtle signs and they're also being affected by other ones. That can be like a really big indicator of that, like why you have that burning desire. But are you exercising much now?
I'm not. I want to. Want to start going back. Like for a minute, I was scared to even leave the house because I'm thinking that he outside because he kept threatening my life. So I was in the house if I didn't have to go out, I didn't go out. So now I'm trying to get myself to go back out, but I would like to start exercising now because it's easier because I'm not so heavy.
Yeah, I feel like once you start, and that's why I was getting that message earlier. I feel like once you like start exercising, you'll be able to do something with that energy. That's all that is just energy. They don't tell you that like when you go to the doctor because they want you to spend money on medication and like going back to see your doctor. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you stop taking the medication. However, because that is your life. You have children. If you feel like that's keeping you stable right now, that's fine. Because the meditation is gonna help you regardless. It's gonna help you regardless. But I really feel like you should probably be more. You should be more active. And I'm seeing something that's probably more cardio for you. I think that you would work good with cardio. Could be through like martial arts.
I was going to start running. For some reason, I want to do it. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, you
I
can.
always feel like if I ever lost weight, because I can't, I've been that forever. Like I'm 37 years, so probably 30 years I've been that, and I don't remember running ever.
Yeah.
And like doing little stuff like kind of little stuff like that, I don't remember that feeling at all. So I do want to be more active. Yeah.
Yep. And even if you can't, like, because I know you have the baby, like, even if it's only for 5 minutes at a time, like, get up for 5 minutes every hour or something like that. And I'm sitting here telling you to get up. I need to get my ass up and start exercising. But I understand, like, how it is. But for you, like, I know how irritating that is, for you to, and then for you to have, like, that, the anxiety, that rage inside of you. That's just you trying, that's an expression. You're not crying as much anymore, but because of the medication and because of the meditation, you're not crying as much. But like energy manifests in different ways. So once you're able to start using that as an outlet, exercise or whatever, because that kept coming up in your chart. You need to be more and more active. I really feel like they'll be able to help you. I don't see you gaining more than 10 or 15 pounds. 20 tops, depending on like if it's the holidays or something like that. You're just eating.
100 pounds back. That's all I'm so scared of. Got me thinking about it anyway.
No, I don't see that at all, and that's mainly because you're going to be at home a lot. You're going to be at home. You're going to eventually start working very soon, but you're going to be doing everything in moderation. I don't see you losing control over anything. I see you paying attention to everything. So like when you get to picking up weight, is because there's a part of your life that you're losing control, and and there's a balance. And I was like that too. I lost 50 pounds back in 2014, which was maybe I want to say like 9 months before my ex-husband had left, and then he left and I gained like 20 pounds. So like I understand, and I've gained more on top of that too. Like my weight has been kind of going back and forth on that. But again, I didn't have help with my kids, and I wasn't able to exercise the way that I needed to. But I really feel like you have that support system. So even if you're just taking your son on a walk in a stroller or whatever, I see you feeling so refreshed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Did you have any other questions for me?
No, that was it. That was what was it? Great reading, very insightful. And took care of a lot of things that I was wondering about, and you confirmed some things too. So I do appreciate your time and effort.
Oh, you are very welcome. It was a pleasure to speak with you. If you ever have any questions, just let me know. Okay?
Absolutely. Okay, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. You have a good night.
Thank you too.
All right, bye.